Hey everyone, and welcome back. We love to go deep on interesting topics around here. And today we're diving into something a little unexpected.
Oh.
Yeah, we're talking about being hot, okay? But hold on, we're not talking about like conventional attractiveness.
Right, right.
It's more about that magnetic energy. You
Yeah.
know those people who just effortlessly draw others in?
Mm-hmm.
They achieve their goals and just radiate this like irresistible energy.
That's a good way to put it.
That's the kind of hotness we're exploring today.
I like it. It's fascinating, isn't it?
Yeah.
The sources we've been looking at suggest that hotness, it's really less about outward appearances
Right.
and way more about an internal state of being.
Interesting.
It's a mindset.
So it's like they've got this secret sauce,
Yeah.
and we're going to break down the recipe
I
today.
love that.
We're going to unpack some really intriguing ideas
Yeah.
from these sources,
Okay.
like how hot people attract what they want instead of chasing it.
Mm-hmm.
They know their worth, and they absolutely refuse to settle.
Yeah.
And they tap into this sense of inner abundance.
And that abundance concept, that's
Yeah.
key.
Huge.
The sources really emphasize that hot people, they already see themselves as whole and complete,
Right.
which changes their entire approach to life.
So let me give you an example.
Okay.
Okay. Imagine someone who's constantly chasing after a romantic partner,
Yeah.
but that partner is just not interested.
Oh, I've seen that.
The harder they chase, the more they reinforce this feeling of lack in their life.
Right.
It's like they're saying, I need you to complete me.
Exactly. And that neediness,
Yeah.
that becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Oh.
Because our beliefs about ourselves,
Okay.
whether they're positive or negative,
Right.
they tend to shape our reality.
That's deep.
Yeah.
So how do we break free from that cycle?
Right.
The sources suggest that hot people understand their worth,
Yes.
and they refuse to settle for anything less than what they deserve.
And it's not about being arrogant
Right.
or entitled.
Yeah, no.
It's about recognizing your value and setting healthy boundaries.
Totally.
It's about understanding you have something unique to offer, and you don't have to compromise your values or your needs to please others or fit in.
Love that. And there's this great example in one of the sources
Okay.
about someone who wants a very specific lifestyle,
Mm-hmm.
and they flat out refuse to date anyone who wouldn't fit into that picture.
Okay.
At first, it might sound kind of superficial,
Yeah.
but when you really think about it,
Well, it's actually about aligning yourself with people and opportunities that support your goals and aspirations.
it makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's about being intentional with your choices
Yes.
and making sure that your relationships are contributing to your overall well-being.
Absolutely.
I love that.
Yeah.
That makes so much sense. And, another quality that shines through in these sources
Okay.
is authenticity.
Oh, yeah.
Hot people are unapologetically themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And that genuine self-expression,
Yeah.
it creates this magnetic energy.
It does. It's like they're saying, this is me, take it or leave it.
Right.
And that confidence in being true to themselves is incredibly attractive.
It's so true, and it reminds me of this time when, let's just say I attempted a pretty embarrassing dance move at a party.
Oh, no.
Like epically cringy.
Oh, my gosh.
But you know what?
Okay.
I just owned it.
Okay.
Laughed at myself.
Yeah.
And it actually turned into this really fun, memorable moment.
That's the power of authenticity when
Yeah.
you're not afraid to be yourself, even when it's a little awkward.
Yeah,
You come across as genuine and relatable.
totally. And speaking of judgment,
Okay.
the sources talk about how hot people don't let negative comments or criticism shake them.
Interesting.
They see hate as a reflection of the hater's own insecurities,
Oh.
not their own worth.
Yeah. I think while it's great to have a thick skin,
Sure.
I think it's also important to be open to constructive criticism.
Okay.
The key is to be able to tell the difference between feedback that can genuinely help you grow
Yeah.
and negativity that's simply meant to tear you down.
It's like filtering out the noise
Yeah.
and focusing on the signals that can actually help you become a better version of yourself.
Exactly.
I like that.
Yeah.
And that ties into another point that the sources make
Okay.
about the connection between self-care and how others treat you.
Interesting.
It's like this positive feedback loop.
Yeah.
The more you value and respect yourself,
Mhm.
the more others will too.
Absolutely. When you take care of yourself physically, mentally, emotionally,
Yeah.
you're sending a message that you are worthy of being treated well.
Right.
So you're essentially setting the standard for how others should interact with you.
And the sources actually use this awesome analogy
Yeah.
of life being a video game.
Oh, I like that.
How you equip your character, how you present yourself directly, influences the way you'll be treated and the experiences you'll have.
I love that analogy. It really highlights the importance of being intentional about how we show up in the world and
Yeah.
the energy we bring to our interactions.
It's like choosing the best armor and weapons for your character to face the challenges and level up in the game of life.
Aha, I love it.
And another crucial skill for leveling up, according to the sources, is learning to listen to your intuition.
Yeah.
Trust your gut feelings.
It's about recognizing that inner voice
Yeah.
and allowing it to guide your decisions.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it's as simple as declining an invitation when you know you'd rather stay home and recharge,
Oh, yeah.
even if it means maybe disappointing someone.
It's so true because so often we say yes out of obligation or fear of missing out,
Right.
when deep down we know we'd be better off honoring our own needs.
Exactly. And that takes courage and self-awareness. But the solstice suggests that when you prioritize your own well-being
Yeah.
and make choices that align with your intuition, you actually gain more respect from others.
Interesting.
They see that you have boundaries
Right.
and that you value your own time and energy.
So it's not selfish to put yourself first.
It's not.
It's actually a sign of self-respect. And it sets a healthy precedent in your relationships.
I like that.
And one of the most interesting contrasts the sources highlight is the difference between a scarcity mindset,
Okay.
which is often fueled by comparison and jealousy,
Mm-hmm.
and the abundant mindset of a hot person.
Okay.
They argue that hot people don't see the world as a zero-sum game.
Right.
They don't feel threatened by others' success.
Interesting.
Instead, they use it as inspiration and motivation.
Mhm.
It's like that saying, a rising tide lifts all boats.
Yeah.
They believe that there's enough success, happiness, and abundance to go around for everyone.
And that belief allows them to celebrate others' wins without feeling diminished or insecure.
Exactly.
They see the world as a place of infinite possibilities, which fuels their own ambition and creativity.
So instead of getting caught in the comparison trap and feeling envious, they think, wow, if they can do it, maybe I can too.
Yeah,
It becomes this empowering force that propels them forward.
I love that.
And they really emphasize that you deserve the best treatment. And they share this story about a waitress who refused a generous tip because she felt it was too much.
Wow. That story is a powerful illustration of how limiting beliefs can block our blessings.
Right.
Sometimes we get so caught up in our own insecurities or fears
Yeah.
that we push away the good things that are trying to come into our lives.
It's like we're subconsciously saying,
Yeah.
I'm not worthy of receiving this abundance.
Exactly.
But the sources, they encourage us to challenge those limiting beliefs.
Yeah.
And to open ourselves up to receiving all the good that the universe has to offer.
Totally.
And ultimately, they argue that the most beautiful energy you can cultivate is self-love.
And they describe this beautiful realization that they had at age 25 of finally recognizing and appreciating their own beauty. And now they see aging as something to be embraced rather than feared.
That's so great.
It really speaks to the transformative power of self-acceptance. When we can embrace who we are, flaws and all, we unlock a whole new level of confidence and magnetism that draws people and opportunities into our lives.
So true.
It is. And that journey of self-acceptance,
Yeah.
that really resonated with me from these sources.
Mm-hmm.
It's not about reaching some perfect state of being.
Wow.
It's more about embracing that ongoing process of growth and evolution.
It's like we're all works in progress, constantly learning, expanding, and becoming more of who we're meant to be. And the sources really highlight this idea of hot people as constantly evolving and working on themselves, almost like they see themselves as this lifelong project.
It does tie in beautifully with the idea of self-love as a journey, not a destination.
Yeah.
And like any journey, there are going
Yeah.
to be ups and downs, twists and turns.
Yeah.
But the key is to embrace the whole experience with curiosity and a willingness to learn.
One of the sources actually compares personal growth to the changing seasons
Oh.
or the leaves on a tree,
Okay.
It's a natural part of life.
Yeah.
And it's what keeps us feeling alive and engaged.
Right.
Without those cycles of growth, change, and even a little bit of shedding, things would get pretty stagnant, would they?
Exactly. Stagnation is the opposite of growth.
Yeah.
When we stop learning and evolving,
Right.
we start to feel stuck,
Mm.
which can lead to feelings of dissatisfaction and unhappiness.
So how do we avoid that?
Right.
The sources suggest that hot people embrace change.
Yeah.
They step outside of their comfort zones and actively seek out new experiences.
It's like they're constantly pushing their own boundaries, challenging themselves to think differently, try new things, and expand their horizons.
Right. They're not afraid to dive into the unknown and see what they're capable of.
And part of that growth often involves letting go of things that no longer serve us.
Yeah.
The The sources talk about this in the context of relationships,
Hmm.
but I think it applies to any area of life,
Right.
whether it's a job, a friendship, a belief system, or even a bad habit.
Totally.
Sometimes we need to create space for something better to come in.
It's like clearing out the clutter to make room for new possibilities,
Right.
but letting go, even when we know something isn't working for us, can be scary.
It is. It's stepping into the unknown
Yeah.
and trusting that we'll land on our feet.
It takes courage.
It does. It takes courage and a leap of faith, but the sources seem to have this unwavering trust in the process.
Yeah.
They believe that whenever we let go of something that's holding us back, the universe will always provide something even better in its place.
It's like that saying, when one door closes, another one opens.
Exactly.
But we have to be willing to walk through that new door, even if we can't see what's on the other side. And that takes trust, doesn't it?
It does.
Trust in ourselves, trust in the process, and trust that things will ultimately work out for our highest good.
It's about surrendering to the flow of life
Yeah.
and recognizing that sometimes the most unexpected detours lead to the most incredible destinations.
I love that.
And this brings us back to that idea of attracting what we want rather than chasing it.
Right.
When we operate from a place of trust and abundance,
We don't have to force things or try to control every outcome.
it's like we become magnets for the things that are meant for us simply by aligning ourselves with that higher frequency of trust and allowing things to unfold naturally. But part of that alignment also involves knowing when to stand up for ourselves right.
Absolutely. The sources are very clear that hot people don't stay silent when someone crosses their boundaries or treats them poorly.
They emphasize that addressing the issue directly, calmly, but firmly is essential.
Right. It's not about being aggressive or confrontational, but about asserting your needs and making sure your voice is heard.
And they make a great point that speaking up actually prevents resentment from building up.
Yeah.
If we let things slide or suppress our feelings, it creates this inner conflict that can ultimately damage our relationships and our own sense of self-worth.
It's like we're giving someone permission to continue treating us in a way that doesn't feel good.
Right.
But the sources remind us that we always have a choice.
Yeah. We can choose to tolerate behavior that diminishes us, or we can choose to speak up and create healthier dynamics in our relationships.
And sometimes speaking up might mean walking away from a situation or relationship that's no longer serving us.
Mm-hmm.
It's recognizing that our well-being is paramount
Yeah.
and that we deserve to be in environments that support our growth and happiness.
It's a powerful act of self-love and self-respect.
Totally.
And it's often in those moments of choosing ourselves that we open up space for something even more incredible to enter our lives.
So to wrap up this part of our deep dive, the key takeaway is that being hot isn't about fitting into someone else's mold or striving for some external standard of perfection. It's about owning who you are, embracing your unique journey, and constantly evolving into the best version of yourself.
It's about having the courage to speak your truth, set healthy boundaries, and trust that the universe will always support you in creating a life that truly aligns with your heart's desires.
And you know, as we keep going deeper into this idea of hotness as this internal thing,
Yeah.
I'm struck by how much it overlaps with the idea of energy.
Energy. Oh.
The sources really talk about how the energy we project it just impacts how we interact with the world.
And it's so interesting how they connect this energy to self-care.
Right.
So the better we care for ourselves, the more we're presenting this vibrant magnetic energy that attracts all these positive experiences and relationships.
And they use this analogy
Okay.
of a video game.
Oh, I love a good analogy.
Me too. And it makes so much sense because the way you equip your character
Yeah.
and the energy they bring to the game,
Right.
it affects how other characters respond to them,
It's a powerful metaphor.
isn't it?
Yeah. It really suggests that we have some control, at least,
Yeah.
over how we're perceived and treated by other people,
Right.
based on the energy we choose to embody.
Exactly. And they're not just talking about physical appearance.
Right.
It's the whole package.
Yeah.
It's our confidence,
Yeah.
our attitude, our self-respect, even our generosity of spirit.
Absolutely. And they actually suggest that when we neglect our own well-being, we're essentially giving other people permission to treat us poorly.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's like we're dimming our own light, making ourselves smaller.
And they even warn against giving more than you receive in relationships,
Oh, that's a good one.
constantly pouring energy into others without getting anything back.
Yeah.
It can leave you feeling so depleted and resentful.
This speaks to the importance of reciprocity
Yes.
in any healthy relationship. It's
Yeah.
about finding that balance,
Right.
where both people feel valued and supported and energized by the connection.
One source shares this really relatable anecdote about supporting someone else's success,
Okay.
but completely neglecting their own needs,
Oh.
and how that ultimately led to their own downfall.
It's a cautionary tale
Yeah, yeah.
about the dangers of self-sacrifice
Right.
and the importance of setting those healthy boundaries.
Yeah.
Because prioritizing our well-being, it's not selfish.
It's not.
It's essential for creating a sustainable and fulfilling life.
I love that. And speaking of prioritizing well-being,
Yeah.
the sources really emphasize listening to your intuition,
Right.
honoring your feelings.
Yes.
It's like they're giving us permission to say no
Yes.
without guilt or apology.
And they give that example of declining an invitation when you'd rather stay home.
Yes.
And they highlight how forcing yourself to do things that you don't genuinely want to do,
Yep.
it leads to resentment
Totally.
and a disconnect from your true self.
And it's not even just about saying no.
Right.
It's about being honest about what you need
Yeah.
and what feels right for you
Yes.
in any given moment.
In the moment.
And the sources even suggest that people actually respect
Oh.
those who know what they want
Yeah.
and aren't afraid to go after it,
Mm-hmm.
even if it means going against the grain.
That confidence and self-assuredness
Yeah.
are so magnetic. When we're clear about our boundaries and priorities,
Yeah.
we project this sense of strength and independence
Right.
that draws people in.
It's like that old saying, you teach people how to treat you.
Exactly.
When you value yourself and act from a place of authenticity,
Mm-hmm.
you naturally attract people and opportunities that are aligned with your values.
It comes to you.
You don't have to chase. It comes to you.
You become a magnet for the good stuff simply by being true to yourself and honoring your own needs. And the really cool thing
What's
is,
that?
this energy is contagious.
Ooh, I like that.
When you operate from a place of self-love and abundance,
Yeah.
it inspires other people to do the same.
It's like you're raising the vibration of everyone around you.
Exactly.
And one source shares a really inspiring story
Okay.
about this moment of self-realization they had at age 25.
25. Okay.
And they describe it as like finally recognizing and appreciating their own unique beauty.
And what's even more beautiful is that they now see aging as a positive thing,
Wow.
something to be embraced rather than feared.
I love that.
They're excited about the wisdom, the growth, and the experiences that come with each passing year.
It's such a powerful reframing
Isn't it?
to see aging not as a decline, but as a continued unfolding, a becoming.
Yeah.
It's like they've unlocked this secret that true beauty is about embracing the journey with all its imperfections and triumphs.
And that, I think, is the essence of this hotness we've been talking about.
Yeah.
It's about recognizing that we are all works in progress, constantly evolving and becoming more of who we're meant to be.
I love that.
It's about celebrating our individuality, embracing our flaws, and radiating the unique energy that makes us, well, us.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, I hope
Mhm.
you're walking away with a sense of empowerment and possibility.
Me too.
Remember, hotness isn't about conforming to some external standard of beauty or achievement.
No, it's not.
It's about cultivating that inner magnetism that just radiates outward,
Yeah.
drawing in the experiences and relationships that light you up and allow you to shine your brightest.
It's about confidence, self-love, and that unwavering belief in your own worth.
Yes.
It's about knowing what you want and refusing to settle for less than you deserve.
It's about embracing the journey of personal growth and knowing that your potential is limitless. So as you go about your day, ask yourself, where in my life am I dimming my light?
Good question.
Where am I playing small or settling for less than I deserve?
And what's one small step you can take today
Yes.
to step into your power and embrace that most magnetic, irresistible version of yourself?
Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive.
Yes, thank you.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep evolving, and keep shining your light.